You already have enough, right now, this morning, before anything changes, but you don't feel it. And that gap between what you have and what you feel about what you have is one of the oldest problems in human psychology. Here is a strange contradiction. You can add something to your life and feel nothing. A raise, a new apartment, a relationship milestone. Within weeks, the glow fades and you're scanning for the next thing. But you can also lose something small, your hot water, your phone signal for a day, your ability to walk without pain, and suddenly you realize exactly how much that thing meant. The moment it disappears, even briefly, a clarity arrives that months of possession never produced. Loss clarifies value. The Stoics noticed this over 2,000 years ago and built an actual daily practice around it. They called the broader method Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of future difficulties. One specific branch of that practice is what modern writers often call negative visualization, the deliberate, brief imagining that something you value could be taken away, not to torment yourself, not to dwell in fear, but to puncture the numbness that settles over a life left unexamined. This is the practice the title promised, and the mechanism is simpler than you might expect. It does not ask you to be pessimistic. It asks you to be awake. It asks you to notice what your mind has quietly filed under permanent and remind yourself that nothing earned that label. The thinker most associated with this specific exercise is Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher who served as advisor to Emperor Nero. Seneca lived surrounded by extraordinary wealth and political power, yet he was keenly aware that all of it could vanish overnight. And it did. He was eventually exiled, recalled, and ultimately ordered to take his own life. He was not writing from a position of detached comfort. He was writing from inside real precariousness, from a life where fortune could reverse between breakfast and nightfall. Seneca frequently advised his readers to rehearse hardship mentally. To paraphrase his teaching from the letters to Lucilius, he urged that we should set aside certain days to practice poverty, to sleep rough, to eat little, so that when fortune turns, we are not strangers to difficulty. The idea is not punishment, it is inoculation. By choosing discomfort briefly and voluntarily, you loosen the grip that comfort has on your sense of self. But negative visualization, as a gratitude practice specifically, works a slightly different angle. Instead of rehearsing hardship to build toughness, you briefly imagine the absence of something you currently enjoy. Not to brace for disaster, but to see clearly what is already here. The target is not resilience, the target is perception. Think of it this way: you wake up tomorrow and your partner is gone. Not angry, not somewhere else, just gone from your life entirely. Sit with that for 10 seconds. Feel the weight of that empty space. Now open your eyes, they are still here. And for a moment, you actually know it, not as background noise, as foreground reality. That shift from assumption to awareness is the core mechanism, and it works because the human mind adapts to constants. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The Stoics did not have that term, but they observed the same pattern and designed a countermeasure. They saw that familiarity breeds a kind of blindness, and they treated that blindness as a problem of judgment rather than circumstance. Now, let's be honest about why this is hard. We live inside systems designed to keep us dissatisfied. Advertising works precisely by making you feel that what you have is not enough. Social comparison, amplified by technology, trains your attention on gaps rather than presence. And beyond external pressure, there is an internal resistance. Imagining loss feels morbid. It triggers anxiety for some people. If you are dealing with genuine anxiety or grief, this is not a replacement for professional support. The Stoics themselves were practical people. They did not dismiss real suffering or pretend that philosophy alone could cure illness. But for most of us, most days, the discomfort we feel when we imagine loss is actually the feeling of waking up. It is brief, it is voluntary, and it passes quickly, leaving clarity behind. The flinch is not a sign that the practice is harmful. It is a sign that you are asleep to something that matters. So here is how you practice this concretely. 3 applications across a single day. In the morning, before you reach for your phone, pause for 30 seconds. Choose one person or one condition in your life that you tend to take for granted. Your health, a friend, the fact that you have work that pays your rent. Imagine, briefly, that it is simply gone. Do not spiral into catastrophe. Just notice the absence for a few breaths. Then return to your actual morning where that thing still exists. That is the practice. 30 seconds. No journal required, no app. Just a moment of honest attention before the day claims you. In the moment, during your day, when frustration rises, when you are stuck in traffic, when a meeting drags on, when your child is loud and demanding, try this inversion. What if this were the last time? What if you never sat in this car again, never attended another meeting because you lost your job, never heard that child's voice? You do not need to believe the loss is imminent. You just need to see the present from the angle of its absence. Often the frustration softens, not because you forced gratitude, but because your judgment shifted. The situation didn't change. Your relationship to it did. In the evening, reflect for 1 minute. Name one thing that went well today that you did not create, did not earn, and could not have guaranteed. The Stoics were deeply interested in what is and is not within our control. Stoic ethics, as described in the tradition, centers on virtue and rational judgment as the path to flourishing, what the Greeks called eudaimonia. Part of that flourishing comes from correctly identifying what belongs to fortune and responding with appropriate appreciation rather than entitlement. This evening reflection is where the practice compounds. It trains your attention to notice gifts that arrived without your effort. When you do this repeatedly, something shifts. Not dramatically, not overnight, but over weeks you begin to notice a quieter form of contentment. The practice doesn't eliminate desire or ambition. It recalibrates your baseline. You stop needing everything to be different in order to feel that your life is working. You find that the constant low hum of dissatisfaction fades, not because your problems disappeared, but because your accurate perceptions outnumber your distortions. This is a realistic transformation, not a promise of permanent bliss. Some days the practice will feel hollow, some days you will forget entirely. That is fine. The Stoics understood philosophy as ongoing practice, not perfection. The goal is not to become immune to wanting, it is to become accurate about having. Zoom out for a moment. Negative visualization connects to one of the deepest threads in Stoic thought, the relationship between judgment and experience. The Stoics held that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. When you visualize absence, you are not changing your circumstances. You are changing your judgment of those circumstances. You are correcting a distortion, the distortion that says ordinary life is not enough. And this connects to the Stoic emphasis on living in accordance with nature, which in their framework meant aligning your life with reason and with the rational order of things. Gratitude, in this light, is not a feeling you manufacture. It is a perception you restore. You see what is actually here, freed from the fog of habituation. You stop arguing with reality and start recognizing what it already contains. Return to where we started. You already have enough. The practice of negative visualization does not add anything to your life. It reveals what was already present but invisible. The gap between having and appreciating is not filled by getting more. It is filled by seeing clearly, and that clarity is available every single morning, in every single moment of frustration, every single evening when you pause long enough to notice. To paraphrase Seneca's recurring counsel, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and that same imagination, redirected, can teach us to value what reality has already given. Stoicism: master your judgments, practice what is yours to control,